The next item on our agenda is the Juvenile Resources Update, and Rachel Nygaard will be presenting this item. Rachel, thank you.
Good evening. There was a typo on the agenda that you were reading from. It's the Justice Resource Update. My name is Rachel Nygaard, and I am your Director of Strategic Partnerships. And in that role, I have an opportunity to be a part of helping to tackle some of the big, complex, systemic issues in our community, like affordable housing, ensuring that everyone has access to an affordable place to live. Issues like building a robust and thriving workforce that's inclusive and diverse. Issues like preventing and responding to opioid addiction, and issues like justice, like rethinking what criminal justice looks like here in our local community. And so this, as a strategic priority, is we're celebrating an anniversary. Today it has been 1 year since we came before the Board of Commissioners and brought to you a proposal for some strategies for what we can do to push forward this work. Max, do you have slides? Thank you. So today we'll update you about the work that has happened, celebrate the impact that that's having on the lives of people that we serve, and talk to you a little bit about the path forward. Before we do that, we look back just a little bit. We came before you a year ago and talked to you about pressures in the system, experiencing increases in the number of people that are in our local county detention facility, and drivers, like the number of women who are involved in the criminal justice system, people impacted by mental illness and by substance use, really driving those numbers. We came before you and talked to you about how Buncombe has been a leader in criminal justice and justice resources for decades. We have a lot of the best practices in place that communities use in this work, and we have local models to turn to, like the Family Justice Center and like the C3 at 356 mental health model. While we are a leader, we still have a system that has a need for more coordination, more effective coordination across those silos, and our system has some gaps. And so we brought to you a strategy that had several components to continually prioritize public safety, holding people accountable and keeping the community safe, while implementing approaches that help address the underlying needs that motivate people to get involved in the criminal justice system, the poverty, the substance abuse, the trauma, and other impacts. So we brought to you a proposal to formalize some coordination, invest in a Justice Resource Coordinator, establish a Justice Resource Advisory Council, fill in with some programs and some infrastructure support, and we'll dig into some of those in just a second. Before we do that, just reminding that we continue to be thankful for the Board of Commissioners' support keeping this as a priority. In December, you voted again 7-0 to keep this as a strategic policy issue for the board going forward, and so we thank you for that. I am going to turn the microphone over to Tiffany Ihanacho, who, when we left here on February 21st, 2017, one of our first items of business was going to those national models and pulling up job descriptions for Justice Resource Coordinators and getting that job posting. And it's been a journey, and we're glad to have Tiffany here at the helm and who will give us an update.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here on this year anniversary, and I'll just talk briefly about the work that we've been doing, the formation of the Justice Resource Advisory Council. You all were privy to the opening, and so glad that you were there for the Justice Resource Center to talk about the work we've been doing at the center, the improvements and enhancements made to pretrial services, and how we looked at case processing to help move cases along through the criminal justice system to reduce those times that people are awaiting trial and to reduce some of the length of stays in the detention center. So our Justice Resource Advisory Council meets monthly, and they've been hard at work to look at best practices and find ways that are effective and efficient when we think about improving our criminal justice system. Our representation of the council consists of our resident Superior Court Judge, our Chief District Court Judge, representatives from our law enforcement agencies, Buncombe County Sheriff Department and APD, Clerk of Court, who's with us today, Chief Magistrate, our District Attorney, Public Defender. We have representatives from North Carolina Division of, or Department of Public Safety, Community Supervision, and Juvenile Justice. We have representatives from our local defense bar and regional mental health and substance abuse and disability managed care system or organization VIA. We also have representation, just want to make sure I don't miss anybody, from our Buncombe County departments such as the County Manager's Office, Pretrial Services, Performance Management, and the Bureau of Identification. So they're coming together monthly to talk about how we can make our system better. And one of those things was getting the Justice Resource Center up and running. And as Rachel shared with you, kind of the timeline of where we are today is getting that center up and running, using best practices, having kind of that same model that we use from the Family Justice Center is having multiple partners in one location, providing an array of services, including connecting people to resources, being able to offer 3 diversion programs, and even connecting those who are returning to our community from incarceration from our state prisons back into our community, connecting them with housing, education, employment, and transportation. All of these efforts are to try to reduce people's contact with the criminal justice system and give them a more self-sufficient and sustaining life while rethinking and motivating change in their behavior. So since our opening, we've served nearly 400 individuals, and I had kind of talked to the staff, many of whom are with us today, about what is something that you would want the commissioners to hear about our success. And they all started giving stories about the people that we're impacting. And I said to myself, wow, that's 400 people or 400 stories that we can tell the commissioners. And it's unique because we're at one central location, and amongst all of the feedback I got, people felt that this was a safe place. This is the first time they can walk through the courthouse and have less anxiety and probably have more of an outlook for their future, because they might come up and be referred through their probation officer to help connect them with housing. Then our case managers, I believe Kendra's here with us, can help link them with housing, but they might be talking about, dang, I don't know where my next meal is coming from. I'm working 3rd shift and I don't make a livable wage. And so Kendra can say, hey, I have someone, maybe you can meet Elizabeth, who's our income maintenance caseworker. She can do a food stamp application. We can see if you're eligible. So we're getting expedited applications through for our clients. They also can connect with AB Tech, who's on site. And actually one client in particular, he came through and he was talking about that 3rd shift job. So our person that works at AB Tech, Philip, who cannot be with us today, but Shelly is representing AB Tech. He got them enrolled in a CDL, so he's working through his class to become a truck driver. And during that time period of him securing that course, he was able to get a job working 1st shift and getting a livable wage. So these are some of the lives that we're impacting. And as you can see, we are steadily increasing the amount of clients that we're serving. As it relates to pretrial services, thanks to your investment, we were able to hire, or pretrial was able to hire 3 additional case managers and increase their units as it relates to electronic monitoring. Why is that so important? Is because these individuals are awaiting trial. They can do so safely in our communities, still maintaining their jobs and contacts with their family, and we do have a sense of safety with measures for those high-risk needs individuals. As we look at jail reduction strategies and how to effectively manage our jail populations, the court may use electronic monitoring more as a tool, and even so, using pretrial services to be that connection in the community for supervision. And I believe over the past year or so, pretrial has seen an increase in the amount of cases assigned to them. So pretrial, during this year, they were also able to leverage outside resources. They were awarded a safety and justice grant through the MacArthur Foundation, and this was specifically for working with those domestic violence defendants. And they developed a protocol with the help of our court partners and our members with the Coordinated Community Response for DV. So again, as we look for different strategies about managing our jail population and the effectiveness of our criminal justice system. We're trying to link and connect with national partners and people who are doing this work across our country. And what's one thing that to highlight is we're one of 20 jurisdictions selected for this innovation grant across the country. As it relates to case processing, your investments went to jail-based prosecution, being able to put assistant district attorney and a victim witness legal assistant into the jail. And this really helps with case processing as it gives real-time interactions for those sitting in custody as they await trial. Their attorneys can talk to the district attorney about how to kind of move this case along. It actually replaced the current H&I felony plea calendar that was in process a while ago. And so the goal is within 7 days of an attorney's request to get a plea deal, this disposition can happen in Superior Court. So this happens about 80 times since the start of a jail-based prosecution. Back in October, I believe the Office of District Attorney and the Partnership Buncombe County started a community access portal, and this was to kind of streamline and automate the court process. So essentially, this reduces the time that a case is disposed of in court and giving the sheriff and the detention center the order or the court record to release the individual because they're not going from office to office to office and then sending it over. So essentially this can happen over the weekend. They can dispose of a case. The detention facility gets that through electronic email or correspondence, and they can release that person from custody. So again, this has occurred over 300 times, and this is a great way to reduce that length of stay when it comes to disposition and how long they have to wait until they get released. So we've done a lot of work this year, but we still have a lot more to do. Our pretrial population is down roughly 8 to 9%, but our female in custody remains high. That's due to a variety of issues, but as we look towards managing our jail population, we can look at gender-specific programs and outcomes to really target getting females into custody for the ones that really need to be there. Another important issue is our substance abuse detox protocols. Those are ones that come into the facility that have to be medically monitored due to alcohol withdrawal, opiate withdrawals. And it's great to have our partnership with VIA, our local management care organization, to be present with that council so we can really look at best practices of how to diverting people with mental illness and substance abuse out of our system. So this year, in 2017, it was up 60%. And there was a few slides, I guess, in the beginning where it showed that the detox protocols from 15 to 16 were 30%. So it increases and rises every year. Our next steps, as a council, we plan to work towards creating an improvement plan that will discuss goals, objectives, and also timelines of when we can see and target our effectiveness for our criminal justice system. This could include jail reduction strategies. This can include, gender-specific programs, as well as just moving cases along. So just really enhancing the work that we've been doing. Improving our data collection and data analysis, learning from other jurisdictions. One unique part about the work we're doing, we're not the only ones in the country, and so we can learn from others, and they can learn from us as well. A part of the innovation grant was going to a convenient when you meet different jurisdictions doing this work and learning from them. And then again, there are other opportunities for funding, and so we'll continuously seek ways to improve our criminal justice system. I have a few representatives from our council to speak about the work we do. Our public defender, Leanne Milton, ADA Rodney, if you guys want to come and share quickly. I'm not sure if I'm missing anybody. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Leanne Melton, the Chief Public Defender for Buncombe County. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. On behalf of the Public Defender's Office, thank you for prioritizing issues regarding our criminal justice system. Mass incarceration in the United States is a serious problem. The United States has 5% of the world's population, but nearly 25% of its prisoners. Thank you for investing in solutions. Thank you for investing in treatment and resources that will help address issues that bring many individuals into our criminal justice system, specifically poverty, trauma, mental illness and substance use, and structural inequities. Thank you for your commitment to a diversion program that allows for equal access regardless of an individual's wealth. The Public Defender's Office shares in your commitment to partner in criminal justice goals like protecting public safety while helping people address their underlying needs that cause them to be justice involved. The Public Defender's Office is committed to data-driven, accountable, collaborative approaches to rethinking justice. Thank you again for your valuable investment in our criminal justice system.
Good evening. My name is Rodney Hasty. I'm representing the District Attorney Todd Williams. He was unable to be here tonight, but he wanted me to send me over to be sure to tell you how much we appreciate the county's investment in the Justice Resource Center. One of the, in addition to just saying thank you, I mean, I think it's helpful to have an illustration, of exactly what we're talking about. I've practiced criminal law for 21 years now. It's hard to believe. On the prosecution side and on the defense side. And the state, the legislature comes up with the criminal law. And because it's applicable all through the state, it's very much a one-size-fits-all, way of addressing crime. I mean, it comes from the state level down, and it's the same for everyone. And one example that I wanted to use is, according to the legislature, possession of any amount of heroin is a felony. Even if it's just a little bit of dust in the corner of a baggie, a lot of people get charged with felonies for that. I mean, and just possessing that amount of heroin, and that's an operation of state law. That's not anything that we can change or do anything about. And I assign all of the felony cases in our office, and this is an example that I'm familiar with, is because that's where those cases collected. When they would come up, I would look at a case like that where a person with little or no record clearly just had, a very small amount of, controlled substance like heroin that was a felony by operation of law. And my choice was whether to go ahead and assign it to one of the other assistant DAs to indict and prosecute, because that's what the state law provides for. That's what the one-size-fits-all approach provides for. And the reason that I wanted to use that example is because we would not have any other options were it not for the Justice Resource Council. This is what the JRC is for. It is for recognizing problems like that and then coming up with solutions that don't involve the state's one-size-fits-all approach. And now, for people that fit that category, they have a very small amount with very little record. It's a felony by operation of law. We now have a Sunrise diversion program that those people can go to and as they should, get help for their addiction problem. We would not have had that option before. We don't have it under the state, but we do have it now under the Justice Resource Center. And for those reasons, we just appreciate so much the investment of time and funds that the county has invested in this project. Thank you.
Thank you for hearing our update, and we would be we'd be happy to answer any questions.
I want to say I'm truly humbled by the work that's been done. It was just a year, and to back up the conversation, I think it was a year ago, last January, Commissioner Newman and I met with Mandy, and because we were faced, there were some in the community that wanted us to build a new jail for $48 million. And that's when we said there's got to be other ways. And you all worked miracles to come up with, one, not building a new jail, but two, a benevolent, data-driven system that really, really helps people in the most profound sense that don't have an option. I think we can all agree that for somebody to be in jail because they don't have money is inequitable. And what you've done, the amount of work that you and Tiffany have done with this huge organization has been extraordinary. So I humbly thank you.
just like to chime in and express thanks to everyone also for showing up this evening. Y'all have done incredible work to translate what was on paper a year ago into living, breathing services, and really appreciate this opportunity to get updates about it. I think what I've heard folks across Commission express is ensuring that everyone in Buncombe County has equal access to a justice system that treats them equitably and fairly, and that someone's income is not the differentiator between what their experience is like in that process. So we know it takes a tremendous amount of vision and moxie and hard work and long, late nights to give lift to something like this that's as innovative as this. So thank you all very much for that hard work and for the really remarkable collaboration across a lot of different agencies and entities and parts of our judicial system. Thank you all.
I want to remind everybody, too, it was a 7-0 vote, and I don't think I was ever more proud of this commission than we had that 7-0 vote on this.
And what I would like to say to add to it, to thank you, because me being one of the new commissioners on board, I was proud to walk into the work that you had already started, and just to be here to help close the deal, so to speak. But what I really hate is that because of the publicity we've been getting this year, what we should have on the front page of the paper every day is what you folks have done, because you're really making a difference in Buncombe County. And this is going to be something that will pay off for us for years to come. And it sure is a lot cheaper to fund what you're doing than $48 million for a new jail that I question if we need any. We don't need it. Now, I would never vote for that. But I want to thank you for what you do and keep up the good work. And like I said, we need to do a better job of letting the community know what you're doing and how quick. That's what surprised me, is how quick, how fast you've made the changes that we can see. Because I thought it would take a lot longer to get off the ground than what you're doing. But keep up the good work, and I pledge, as long as I'm on the commission, you will get the support you need, because we will all be fighting for it. And we have a team here that's backing, 7 votes started it, and you still have 7 votes today. I think I can comfortably say that for all of the team here, our commissioners. But I'd like to say again, thanks, and keep up the good work, and whatever you need from us, let us know.
It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of.
All right.
Yeah, I want to thank you. I want to thank you also, and I want to echo Commissioner Whiteside and Frost that this was that these efforts are supported across the board. And I heard the term central location. It reminded me of the
Family Justice Center.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what happens when you got a lot of things on your mind. Sometimes you forget some. But it reminded me of the Family Justice Center and how all of this works together, and how when you are able to help individuals that need that, and in relation to the law and to the state, these are nonviolent people that need help. Right. That's what this is. This is not keeping people that that are not in that category and putting them back on the street. What this is doing is making sure that people get help. And it's also avoiding stress becoming toxic stress. And I thought of, before when we had the Family Justice Center, and all of these are working together to make our county a better place to live. And it is saving resources. And that's just a benefit. It's not why we're doing it. Right. We're doing it because it's the right thing to do. And you've been able to figure out a way to get results, and in a short period of time, and I'm glad it's going so well, and we just want to continue to send positive thoughts and work and prayers and help in that direction. It'll make Buncombe County a better place. Thank you.